In this video, I'm going to show you the 6 tiny clicks that could be holding you back from scaling your Meta Ads account. Now, my name's Mark. I'm the head of growth here at Dunk Agency, and over the last 6 years, we've worked with 7- and 8-figure businesses to help them scale on Facebook, Google, and email marketing. Now, these 6 tiny clicks that I'm going to go through today are often overseen in accounts that are spending anywhere between 10K per month and 100, 200K plus per month. Now, the first one that we can see here is the existing customer budget cap. Now, why this is so important for brands to actually be aware of is that a lot of brands are not aware of how much of their budget is being spent towards new versus existing customers. And what we see is that Facebook is historically really good at over-attributing spend to existing customers, saying it's generating you a great result, but that spend not actually helping with driving incremental new revenue for the business. Now, this might look slightly different depending on your Advantage Plus settings and the way Facebook is optimizing that now, but it is as simple as this little button here, clicking it and adding anywhere between 1 to 10%. What this does is then say, hey, if I'm spending $100 a day on this campaign, only 1% of that $100 is going to be spent going towards existing customers that you have designated in the back end of Facebook. Now, you can really put whatever number you would like in here, depending on the campaign or the strategy that you're running. The biggest thing is people aren't aware of how much they're actually allocating. And what that means is they're spending, 30, 40% of their budget to retargeting existing customers, which isn't actually driving any new revenue growth. This goes to our second little click that could be holding you back, and that is the audience segments. Now, if you want to figure out how much of your budget is actually going towards these desired audience groups, what you need to do is click on the audience segments and really see how much of your budget is being spent towards new audiences, existing customers, or engaged audiences. Now, if you see that over 20, 30, 40% of your budget is being spent here, you might want to include this existing customer budget cap to limit how much that budget is being spent on running ads to existing customers. Number 3 is your attribution settings. Now, this is a really great way to see if ads are over attributing for one-day view, which is typically in response to targeting existing customers, Facebook saying it had a significant part to play in that customer journey, and then over attributing ads to show that 60-70% of your ads conversions are only through view and not 7-day click, which we find helps drive the most incremental growth when it comes to acquiring new customers and doing so profitably. So when you go into your columns, you can figure this out and really look at your campaigns to see how much they are weighted. Now, we really, depending on your optimization settings, we would always recommend optimizing for 7-day click. However, we do have some counts that do 7-day click and 1-day view. And it's just something that we always want to be checking to make sure that no more than 30 to 40% at the very, very max is coming from 1-day view. As much as we want this to be in the 80% of our conversions are coming from 7-day click windows. Number 4, which we find a lot of brands spending, 30, 40, 50K per month, do not have their audience segments correctly. Now, what I mean by this is just defining what the above categories we're classifying as existing customers or engaged audiences. Now, depending on your business model, the reoccurring business model that you might be in, you can define what your audience segments are. And this is going to be really specific to every single business. Some business might say if a customer buys, then they're now considered an existing customer. Others may say if they haven't bought in a year or 18 months, we're then going to classify them as new customers because it's a frequent purchase. And if you haven't bought within that time frame, we can say that they are lapsed. So we want to make sure that our audiences are updated, and we recommend obviously using the pixel, but then exporting customer lists through your Shopify and then uploading them into Meta, along with using Klaviyo and syncing that through to make sure that you're constantly refreshing that existing customer list. Number 5, this is a killer for a lot of brands, and look, it might not impact performance greatly, but we are very hesitant on making sure that the creatives we put out and the copy that we put out is specific and approved by the companies that we work with. And we recommend turning off all the advanced optimizations when it comes to creative. So this is things like visual touch-ups, text improvements, AI, enhanced CTA. The only one we recommend leaving on is relevant comments. But we have found some really crazy things with Facebook just not fully understanding the AI and making some really weird changes to the creative, which are not approved by the company that we partner with. Number 6. And this is the final one that we find works really well within accounts. It does have some caveats to it, and you really need to know how to use this. But if you haven't tried cost per result goal, we recommend testing this out. It can be really great for bigger brands out there. If you're starting out, I wouldn't necessarily worry too much about this. But if you're spending anywhere from 10, 50, 100K per month, you definitely want to be utilizing cost per result goals. What this does is we tell Facebook, based on our customer acquisition cost, how much we want to aim to acquire customers at, and Facebook will aim to acquire customers at that rate. Now, this is really good when you have high levels of spend, because Facebook is not going to spend unless it can achieve that desired result. Now, in some cases, it might not spend at all, so it is fluctuating with your spend. And one thing that we do find whenever we have cost per result goals is these campaigns, especially if they're with Advantage Plus, require a lot of creative. So this is something to just always be mindful of. But if you haven't tried out cost per result goal, we find it's really effective in keeping the targets that we have outlined for specific product SKUs or collections that we run that might have different variables when it comes to the amount that we can spend to acquire customers with that product and the margins that product might have. So these are 6 really crucial, what we call clicks, that could be sabotaging your growth. And if you are unaware and you want someone to help you check this out or get a free Meta Ads audit, all you have to do is click the button somewhere below, and what we can do is deep dive more in depth into your account and how we can help you grow using Meta Ads and optimizing your account effectively.